I've been vegan for almost 5 years now, vegetarian for around 6-7 years, and the longer I'm vegan, the more I believe that veganism is definitely the most ethical choice someone can make in their lifestyle. Currently, I have 3 main reasons why I'm vegan, and the first 2 you've probably heard of, but the third is something that I definitely feel like it isn't talked about enough. Let's start by the reason that turned me vegan in the first place. As you've read in the title, this video will not have any graphic footage. However, I do feel like it's important for us to know where exactly our food comes from. And so I'll leave in the description box a few resources and documentaries that you can watch. And they're hard to watch, but I feel like everyone should at least once. Because if it's hard to watch, imagine how hard it is for the animal that is experiencing that. You know, we can turn our faces away, we can close our eyes, we can pause the video and pretend that none of that happens. They don't have that privilege. They are stuck in that reality. And if that makes you uncomfortable, if watching that makes you uncomfortable, then you probably shouldn't support this. Personally, I've always loved animals, and so it's easier for me to be compassionate towards them. However, that is not why I'm vegan. I'm not vegan because animals are cute and I want to protect them. I'm vegan because I think it's wrong to torture animals and to kill them for no reason other than the temporary pleasure that we get from eating their flesh or their secretions. And that has nothing to do with loving animals or thinking they're cute. I don't love every person I meet, but I still don't think it would be right to punch them in the face for no reason. It's not about love, it's about respect for basic living rights. And some people argue that we're superior to animals, we're at the top of the food chain. I'm not going to argue that. Honestly, it's not about who's more intelligent. It's about if you can be healthy, if you can live without causing harm to innocent animals, why wouldn't you? No matter how tasty meat can be, or cheese, or eggs, or anything like that, no matter how tasty that can be, it's never more valuable than a life. Everyone is talking about climate change, and that's a good thing. We need that. We are in serious trouble right now, and it's only going to get worse. So I'm glad that this problem is finally getting some attention. The thing that frustrates me is that people always talk about it as a problem for the future. And it's not a problem for the future. People are suffering right now. People are dying right now. Individually, there's not a lot that we can do. Most of the problem is being caused by big corporations. And that's why it's so important to pressure our governments to implement the policies that are needed to keep the carbon emissions within our budget, to limit the temperature rise to 1.5 degrees. Although individually there's not a lot that we can do, that doesn't mean we should stop trying to reduce our carbon footprints. And the single most important thing you can do for that is to go vegan. First, animal products are a waste of resources. It is studied in biology and thermodynamics that in each stage of the food chain, energy is lost. And that means that it's more efficient to get our calories from the first stages of the food chain, and that means getting them from plants, since we can't do photosynthesis yet, than to get them from the animals that eat those plants. Just think about it. If you're eating an animal, then you are eating one animal that was fed its whole life. So if you think about it logically, it's pretty obvious that you're going to need more plants to feed that animal for its whole life than you would need to eat yourself for that one meal, right? Animal farming is also wasting ridiculous amounts of water, is the lead cause of deforestation. Also, most animal products come from confined animal feeding operations, and they are really toxic environments for people to live around. We have a lot of animals pooping in one space, and that literally stinks. The waste of these facilities contaminates the air and the drinking water, and so people living around confined animal feeding operations are usually victims of an enormous amount of health problems. So these environments are extremely harmful, not only for the animals and the environment, but also the people living around that environment. And that actually brings me to my last reason for being vegan. I feel like not enough people talk about this aspect of veganism, which I think it's such an important point. And it breaks my heart that some vegans actually talk about slaughterhouse workers as if they're the bad guys. Working at a slaughterhouse is an extremely vulnerable and dangerous position. The slaughterhouse workers are forced to kill so many animals in such little time that they get hurt. It is a job that is very prone to work accidents, from cuts to mutilation, electrical shocks, and burns. And just as I said, this is a very toxic environment. Slaughterhouse workers also develop a lot of health problems, not only on their physical health, but also their mental health. Working at a slaughterhouse is an extremely violent job, and that takes a very heavy toll on your emotional stability as well. You need to get comfortable with that violence in order to do your job, and that easily extends to other aspects of your life. Slaughterhouse workers are more likely to commit crimes such as domestic violence because of the trauma of being forced in such extreme violence every day of their lives. And to cope with that trauma, they're also very likely to rely on alcohol and substance abuse. And to top it all off, slaughterhouse workers are often overworked and underpaid, as if their life wasn't stressful enough. Now, you might be thinking, who would accept this kind of job? Well, most of the slaughterhouse workers are illegal immigrants that don't have a better alternative. The animal agriculture business takes advantage of these extremely vulnerable workers because they know that they cannot seek legal help. They can't ask for better wages, and they basically can't complain. This industry is also known for taking in underage workers, so there's a lot of illegal things going on in slaughterhouses. And when these crimes are exposed, it isn't the company, it isn't the slaughterhouse owner that suffers the consequences. It's the workers. So for me, this is such an important argument for veganism, you know. Many people have told me, there are more important causes than veganism. But veganism, to me, is such a broad cause. I'll leave in the description box the resources where I got all of this information. For me, veganism is definitely one of the best choices that I ever made in my life. So if you're not vegan yet, I hope this video made you think about it, made you consider it. I would love to know, if you're not vegan, what is your biggest concern regarding veganism? What is stopping you? And if you're already vegan, thank you so much. You're doing an awesome job, and I hope you're enjoying veganism as much as I am. I would love to know why you became vegan and what is the reason that you connect the most with.